So, hello, viewers. We are once again back for this interview series. We are having another interview for you all. So, today's interview series is the third interview that we are taking. So, the topic remains the same: disability and its challenges. So, the person we are having the interview, let's talk to them. Yeah. So, hi, Gauri.
Hi Jayan, how are you?
I'm good. You say?
I'm doing good too.
Okay, we're going to. So, for a brief introduction about yourself, about your family, for the viewers, if they can know you better.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Gauri. I'm a person with disability. Uh, I live with a congenital disability known as spina bifida, and I'm a wheelchair user. Other than that, I'm a student. I also write and advocate for disability rights. Uh, Talking about my family, we are a family of 6 people. My parents, my sibling, my grandfather, and my pet. So, yeah.
Okay. So, moving further, so my next question is that, what is disability according to your viewpoint, and what kind of disability that you are going through? Basically?
Okay. So, disability is basically it's a condition, or I would say it's an impairment that limits a person's ability to do a certain kind of activity or the way they interact with the world. So that's a disability. I have a physical disability, but there are many types of disabilities such as visible disabilities, invisible disabilities, etc. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So great. So my next question towards you basically, it's that you talked about your disability. So how was your life before this pandemic, if I talk about? So how was your life in the normal life you were living in that time, and what was your experience in that?
My disability has been there since birth, so my experiences have been surrounded around that only. uh, it has been good, I would say. I'm grateful for whatever I have. There have been challenges, of course, in terms of education, in terms of getting the things that I deserve, but ultimately those things taught me to be a better advocate for these things and to be able to speak up.
That's really good. Like hearing you, person. It's amazing to have you on. Yeah. So my next question is that what kind of challenge that you talked about in your previous answer to me. So what kind of difficulties or barriers you faced in a normal life? If you talk
So if I start from the very beginning when I was a school student, or to be very honest, this is a separate thing. Barriers have been there throughout my life. The way the barriers come, it has been different, right? So starting from the beginning, when it was about my education, there were so many schools that they denied admission just because I am a person with disability. Then uh, that got sorted. Then other challenges started coming into my social life, personal life. As I started growing up into adolescence, I also started having issues adjusting in an environment that was made for able bodied people. And now, as a college student, navigating through the society as a person with disability, challenges in terms of exclusion, lack of accessibility, so many things are there. Stigma, there are a number of things that are there. So,
so
yeah.
anything in particular you would like to share, any experience or any weird experience that you would like to share with your friends, if they can know
A weird experience, there have been
experience
many,
that
but okay.
you would like to share yeah.
Okay. So one day, as a college student, I usually use the metro to travel. Uh, that was, of course, in the pre-COVID era. So that was there. One day, I was traveling in the metro, and it was, as most of you must know, that Delhi metro is usually pretty crowded in the morning, right? So I was boarding my metro as usual, and people were behind me. So yeah, it seemed pretty usual. But then a moment later, a guy pushed me from behind and he yelled in the metro कि ऐसे लोगों को भी allow करते हैं metro में. So the what his intention was to say, that people like me, a person with disabilities, how are we allowed in a metro that is a public transport? Now, another shocking thing that happened, that metro full of people, nobody spoke up. Everybody chose to stay silent. People chose to gossip amongst themselves. People chose to stare. So that kind of shows the stigma that is out there in the people. So yeah, other than that, there have been many instances where I have been pushed out of lifts, not given spaces in the metro, cursed, swear at, so many things. So yeah.
It happens, like it happens. I understand your struggles and this varied experience that you had. It's like very shocking, like what like we are living in 21st century, and all the people around, like we think they are educated. Like what I think and what according to your experience, what I'm able to like analyze that, like being an educated person, people are like started behaving like uneducated people. Like they're illiterate and they don't know anything. Basically, the reason behind it, what I am able to analyze according to your situation or your experience, that like people are educated and people know also everything, but still they don't want to know. So that is the error that I am seeing.
Exactly. I think that's also there. Plus, there is a big lack of awareness, especially in terms of, disability rights. This is disability as a concept. We don't usually talk about this in schools unless and until there is a particular situation or a student, right? So this is something that never comes up in our general day-to-day conversations. So people are not aware about these things. Usually we think we make a ramp or a lift, the problem is solved, but the problem is bigger than that. Accessibility is a part of inclusion, but it's not inclusion as a whole. That is something that we need to understand.
So all you have talked about in a normal life. So like coming to like about a particular barrier that you think, what is a barrier? Like was it a like a physical barrier? Was it a like what should I say, a attitudinal barrier, or what was the biggest barrier that you faced like, till now?
Biggest barrier that I have faced till now is that I was someone that used to be very conscious in terms of if somebody is speaking something at me, or being stared at. As people with disabilities, as children with disabilities, we got constantly stared at in public, and people have a habit of saying things, unsolicited advice, so many things are there, right? So I used to earlier lose my temper very easily and react very quickly. So two things that I have learned over time is to speak up when it's required, and secondly, ignore. So there has to be a balance of both. So yeah, these were two big challenges to be able to make myself uh, into that person. Yeah.
So like moving a bit further, like now if I talk about like what kind of I should say, what kind of like barriers have you faced or difficulties or challenges I can say like you're facing in this tough time of pandemic, sitting just at home and like, so what is it like, is it better than a normal time or is it like a very bad time for you? Yeah.
I would say it's both, to be very honest. I am still at a very privileged position. I would say that I'm able to, access the things that I need to. I'm living with my family, so I'm not having a problem as such in terms of, my basic needs. Many people with disabilities are suffering with a lot of problems in the pandemic, be it lack of availability of basic groceries. And we talk about social distancing, hygiene and everything, but we do not take into account that people with disabilities may not have access to these things. Most people with disabilities do not have access to their caregivers due to the pandemic. Most people with disabilities cannot stay away from their caregivers due to the pandemic. People with intellectual disabilities, they are not properly able to follow the hygiene norms. So we don't take into consideration all of these things. So
So in yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, no. Just the last point, that in terms of online classes, I am not currently facing any challenges as such. But what about those with hearing impairments or other kinds of disabilities that require a certain level of accommodation? Are we as institutions providing that?
Very rightly said, like this pandemic has like it's very tough for everyone, but rather talking about in sense of like persons with disabilities. So it's like a quite thing that has like made people with disabilities more empowering also and more deteriorating their situations if we talk about like accessibility or in any regard maybe. So the lack of awareness as you told, it's maybe like a lot of things. So what do you think like as a society, what should the society be expected to do, or like what is the role of the society that needs to be played, and what is the role of the person with disability that needs to be played? Like, because see what happens like if we just talk about in only in one regard, so it doesn't take places or it doesn't happen. Because see, like when we, it's a small example that I'm giving. Just if we even just clap with our two hands on, we cannot clap with our one hand. So that is the thing, because the
Absolutely.
society has also needs to take some steps, and the person with disability also need to take some steps that, and then only the society will be equally like what should I say?
Absolutely.
Equally, we will be giving.
Inclusive.
Yeah, inclusive. Yeah, right. Very right.
See, of course, there are a lot of things. One thing that I was discussing with someone earlier this week only, that our disability, we are disabled because of our environment. If we are provided the same level of opportunities, the same level of access as everyone. Now, by same, I don't mean give the same kind of, just as much as everyone else, but given what we actually need, right? So there is a difference between equality and equity. So equity is what I'm actually referring to here, giving us what we actually need as per our need, whether it's more or less or whatever it is. That is something that will help us to truly, flourish the way we should be able to. So yeah, other than that, there has also been a very positive side for uh, the pandemic for us as well. Earlier, able in living in an able-bodied society, we had a hard time, asking for accommodations in physical spaces, uh, flexible work hours, online classes, everyday travel. A lot of these things, they have, been made up, recorded Zoom meetings. A lot of these examples are there.
Very nice. So, like, if you talk about coming back to the your point, like as you said, like people are not aware, like persons with disabilities are not aware about their rights, and even as a society, the people are not aware without disabilities also. So, in that regard, if I talk about your experience, so any experience that you had faced about the violation or some deprivation of rights of persons with disability, as you said, like you are doing advocacy in that field. So, have you met any like any that consequences of that, or anything that you have done, like any achievement in that field?
Yes, actually, there have been two such instances. Earlier, I did not know, this happened when I was pretty young. So I was 5, 6 years old. So, of course, I had no clue about this, but my parents did eventually. So, education institutions, they used to say a simple no to students with disabilities having being able to attend their schools, just because of lack of accommodations. So lack of accessibility was used as an excuse for not having students with disabilities in their institutions. But again, that's against the law. If you're talking about equal education, equal opportunities, you're supposed to create that kind of accommodation as per the requirements of students with disabilities. So that I got to know after my parents had to send an right to education petition to a lot of schools and stuff. Other than that, something that I got to know very recently, before the pandemic, I was applying to a lot of internships in college. So organizations used to reject me on the basis of, without even taking the interview, without seeing my CV. As soon as they got to know that I'm a person with disability, they used to say no because they didn't have the accommodation, right? They used to say ki, yeah, our office is on second floor, our office is on third floor, and we won't be able to make the accommodation as per your need. So for the longest time, I took that. I agreed to almost, I think, 10 or 12 organizations, and I let very good opportunities go because of lack of accessibility. And I did not demand. that accessibility and proper accommodations, whatever I need, that needs to be done. I didn't ask for any of that. So that was something that I didn't know that I could. So one thing that I have learned so far is to speak up wherever it's required, and yeah, use my voice.
So that's really a great initiative, being a young mind and a young youth. If like people like you would be coming and girls would like you be coming and like speaking it up and taking the issues matters, taking it up and like resolving them, not just speaking it up and not doing anything to it. Like if you had like have might have done those things, the experience that you told about your internship, if might have done something for them. So the doors might have opened for you and for the other people coming at your back. Oh, see, now you have just known about it. Like the person's coming after you, the persons with disabilities or the girls like coming after you all. So they might be like the same behavior like would be happening with them as well. So that's the thing that it should not be left. The things should not be left like in backlog to be kept for the future. What I think.
Absolutely. As you know, youth of a 21st century generation, it's our responsibility to be a little more aware for our future generations and for ourselves. So, yeah.
Because the thing is that like if you do it for yourself, it will not benefit the others. Because when you do it with a goal, like to do it for goal, so then only you will be able to or achieve something.
Absolutely. That's true. Now, if we talk about, that's something that what you're talking about, it's called selective activism, right? So,
Hmm.
if I only talk about issues that concern me, will only help me. So, but if I am advocating for disability rights, that means I'm supposed to talk about the community as a whole.
Yes, exactly right. So, like moving further a bit, like what kind of message if you would like to give, like it's almost moving towards your end of this like session. So, like what kind of difficulties or what is the like a gap which we see in persons with disabilities or without disability? What is the gap? Can you like tell like how that gap? What is the gap and like how it can be bridged up between the person with the disability and without disability? As a society.
As I mentioned earlier, also, we are disabled because of the environment, because of the lack of access that is there in our environment. If we are given the equal access, the level of inclusion that we truly need, and that's not just in terms of accessibility, that's in terms of stigma, that's in terms of social surroundings, everything included, all of it. If these things go away, then of course we still have a hope at bridging the gap. Now, one thing that I believe is, uh, that always sort of kind of sets a wall between me, a person with disability, and another friend who is not a person with disability. As we as people with disabilities, we can't be spontaneous no matter how much we want to be, right? We have to plan everything to the last dot, and we are so used to compromising everything. We have to give things up. We have to be able to be in a position to be able to not do things. Access is treated like a luxury in our surroundings, to be very honest. If I go buy a wheelchair of a certain kind that I want to buy, it will come at a huge cost, right? Now, if I want to go to a certain place, to be able to be ensured of full access, that is in terms of ramps, lifts, and everything else that I might require, I will have to go to a certainly more expensive place, right? So accessibility is treated like a luxury in our society. So in order to be able to bridge that gap, our environment needs to be inclusive.
So don't you think like our society, the gap that we have in our there's a attitudinal barrier between like persons with disabilities and without disability that we need to like break it off like to bridge
Of
that.
course, of course, there is a huge stigma in our society related to disability, as I said. So as a woman with disability, I the society inherently sets a certain kind of role for me, right? So I'm supposed to do this and I'm not supposed to do this, whether it's in terms of what I wear, how I go about my daily schedule, what I speak, who I hang out with, you know there's a certain kind of image that people usually have when it comes to people with disabilities. We can't have a lot of friends, we can't like to go hang out at places, we can't wear certain kind of dresses, we can't use makeup. All of these things are there, right? We socializing and all of these things, these are usually not considered for us. So that's there. Even in job, people would often tell me, don't you think would you would be better at a desk job? Why are you doing things that you, as a para athlete, where I would have to go from different states? So um, people would eventually tell me to aim for a good either government job or a desk job. So that is something that's there. Again, a lot of I am still in a position of privilege to be able to have the kind of support from my family, friends, and even in the kind of position that I am. But again, there are different barriers for different people with disabilities.
Exactly right. Like there are lots of challenges and barriers for
Yeah.
person with disabilities. We talk about disability in particular. So, like the difficulty that you have told, the stigma that the society has on the person without disability that you talk about, they have it. So, how this gap of attitudinal barrier or the stigma can be can be taken it off?
See, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was doing a collaborative thing with another organization that was about how the standards of beauty that are being set by the society are in a given standard norm, right? So, if you talk about beauty, a person would describe beauty as tall, thin, non disabled, of a certain color, of, a certain body type. So, that's our definition of beauty. To be able to bridge that gap, we as people with disabilities need to take up our spaces in the mainstream media. So there is a major need for opening up the conversation, the right sort of representation, everything altogether, right? Uh, as a child with disability, I at least never came across a Cinderella story where the Cinderella was disabled, right? And we don't have that kind of a representation in our mainstream media. So yeah.
So what, like coming back to a different topic, like diverting our topic to a bit. Yeah. So like if you talk about like what do you think like our education system has that much of things like included in our syllabus? If we talk about our school syllabus or higher education or whatever we talk about. So is it enough or it needs to be more or what type of things needs to be included more in that syllabus or in that curriculum so that the awareness is being done more at a wider level.
Of course, our academic syllabus, I don't think we have a proper education on disability as such. At least I haven't come across anything like that. There is a major need, yes. If at any point of time, disability is mentioned in our main syllabus as students in schools, it's usually in terms of unemployment or stuff like that. It's usually in a very negative connotation. We are not given the proper sort of education that needs to be there. We are not taught about the right terms, we are not taught about meanings of things like inclusion, access. All of these things we are never taught about. We are not taught about accommodations, why we as a society, as an environment, we need to be more inclusive. We are never told that. So of course there is a major need to not just in the school syllabus, but even in our mainstream media, be it storybooks, movies, books, all of these things. Not just have a person with disability for the sake of showing a person with disability. Have it in the mainstream media. Show our problems, show the challenges, show our uh, real life in the way it is. So yeah.
Exactly. So like coming back to the main topic that we're discussing about the thing that you told.
Yeah.
So just wanted to know the experience that you told that you were in metro with you. You told me that you learned a lot from them. So I hope now you would be like speaking it up and would be taking it up like so more people would not be reacting in such a manner with the coming future generations, right? Either
Of
the person
course,
with
yeah.
disability or without disability, that doesn't matter. But the behavior or the attitudinal barrier that person with disabilities face the most. That needs to be, I think so, potted down, needs to be break off first of all. Because the others barriers can be done or can be break off very easily. What I think can be, it can be like, it can be meaning to you also. It could be like different from my viewpoint. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Matlab, there is this huge mental block that usually non-disabled people have in their minds. So, and yes, I did learn from that experience. There have been many instances after that where I did speak up. Now, as a person with disability, you would also know that Delhi Metro, our lifts are not, functioning most of the time. So people usually, the only solution the management usually comes up with, chalo aapko utha ke niche le jate hain. We'll call four people for you and we'll lift you down the stairs. Now, not only that's risky, but that's also degrading as a person with disability. And especially as a woman with disability, I would not want to be touched by a group of strangers. Why would I want that?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, there have been instances where I did call the management authority upstairs, waited for whatever time was required, and got the lift fixed. So,
No, that's a
not settle for
no, that's a
something.
great
Yeah.
initiative that people like you take, because see, advocacy is not like against a particular thing or particular person or particular organization. It's like in at a whole, like that you need to advocate because it's your right. If it's your right, so you need to practice it. No, and what,
Absolutely, and not just me, there might be many people after me who might want to use that particular lift. How
yeah,
many people will you go on and lift them
yeah,
up
of
and down?
course, yeah,
That's not possible.
yeah.
And why should you even do that in the first place? Why not, focus on getting the problem fixed instead of coming up with all these jugards?
No, that
So,
is, I understand. That's a like a very weird experience that is happening. So, like moving further, next, yeah. So next, it's like that, like experiences that you told, all the things that you told me, and very like very insightfully and very like very what should I say, very informative way that you told. So, like, what's your aim? If I talk about coming back to your point, like, what's your aim or what's the goal of your life?
the goal of my life is to create, I know a single person cannot change the society, that would be too ambitious, but I can do my bit. I can contribute to creating an awareness, an aware environment where people are more aware, people with disabilities have a better quality of life, and our environment is more accessible.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is something I would want to do in the long term,
That is,
make our
of
lives a
course.
little better.
Of course, that is so. So, what like what do you want to become in life? Like, what like you told me that you want to bring a change. So, what kind of thing like you admire, or like what thing you want to be like coming future?
I am currently on my way to pursue law, but again, let's see what the future holds for me.
So that is a really a good thing if you are like planning to do. So, like, according to your plan, if you go, like, if you succeed in your life, so like still you might be having some dreams or some like aim, like if I'm going to law, so I'm going into corporate law. Like what what kind of law if you're going for?
I haven't thought that far, to be very honest, but it's going to be related to activism,
Oh,
and to be my basic aim is to be in a power of position where I can truly make an impact and not just uh, demand for change, to be able to make that change happen.
that's really a good mindset that you have, and a really good thing that you think about those things. Let's say, like coming almost to our end itself. So a few questions, I think so. We have some time more left, so like 5 minutes more. Yeah. So next question is a very short one. Like you told about your goals and everything. Like every person talks. Like I'm not talking in regard to the rights without disability, I talk about rights with disability, person with rights of person with disability we talk about. Always we talk. But what about the duties of the person with disability? What do you say in that? They don't have their don't have any duties?
Absolutely, absolutely. Their duties are first. to be a good citizen, of course, as a citizen, whatever duties we have, we should be able to follow that. Now, if I talk in terms of, disability specific area, again, to be able to demand what we actually deserve and not just, speak up for ourselves, see and think as a community, to ask for a change that would help a community together. So yeah.
Very insightful and very like the points that you have made throughout your interview, all your viewpoints, everything is like it's amazing to have you there and talking with you. It's like a great learning experience, I should say. Like I should learn lots of things from you. Yeah, it's a lot of
You're
things.
doing great work too. Don't be modest.
No, no, I mean not being modest because see, sometimes what I think it can be like differing to you, it could be differing to others also. So it's not a thing like everyone's points or the viewpoints matches with each other. So talking to a like a bit it might be a painful question. So sorry for that. Like my next question is that like if we talk about like you being a person with disability, a woman with disability at very young age, we talk about. So as you told me, the viewers as well, so like you are suffering this disability from your birth. So what do you think? Like a person with disability is good, or it's the opportunity for you a good opportunity, or rather I say, or rather it's a very bad thing to have, or you like more happy in being with a person without disability, or a girl without disability.
I honestly, if I'm being very honest with you, when as my younger self, I would wish to be, not disabled, of course. I think that's not a wrong thing to wish for. But now, if I'm being very logical, I don't see it as an opportunity. I just know that this is the life made for me, right? I wouldn't be here wherever I am, wherever, whatever little things that I have achieved. I wouldn't have done that had I not been a person with disability. So, yeah, and I think I was made for this life, and I'm grateful for whatever I have. I don't see it as a suffering. I live with the disability. You walk on two legs, I roll on two wheels. That's what it is.
It's very like really amazing that responses that you've given throughout your points that you have made, and this thing is like something different that you have like a point like with the disability that you are going through, and you don't like it's not like a bad thing or like a bad point that you like or you regret for something like in your life. So you're not regretting, or you're just proud of that. So that's a really a good thing. So that's all like I've heard a lot of things from you. Have like hoping to have and see more in future and take lots of more interviews. All the best for your future. So thank
Thank you. Same to you.
you.
And you're doing great work with your foundation, Bhumika Trust. Congratulations and all the best with that. And thank you for having me here. It was a great
It's
experience.
a thank you viewers for the really great experience with like Gauri, like listening to her. I'm Gauri, what you're doing right now as of now?
I will be graduating next month
Okay.
from LSR. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a really great thing. I just forgot to like just slipped out of my mind like because viewer needs to be knowing like where this person like coming from. Because people like you like they don't tell or they are shy about their disability and they don't come out and speak up. So it's very really great. Thank you everyone. Thanks for being us and thank you. Thanks.